Okay, this is Unit 5, Lesson 10.7, extra practice. Okay, this is very much like what the 10.5 practice which you just did the other day, so let's practice this some more. Okay, so um, so we know this one of my x-intercepts is -1, 0, and the other x-intercept is 3, 0, right there. The y-intercept is here at 0, -9. Okay, and so my axis of symmetry is this pink line right here, halfway between -1 and 3, and that is at x equals 1. Okay, you really should use highlighters or different color markers that are on your desk, and that will help you. Okay, so the axis of symmetry, the vertex is on the axis of symmetry, and this is his, okay, and then if I know my x-intercept is -1, I can have x plus 1. My x-intercept is 3, I can have x minus 3. Remember, it needs to be the opposite side in order to be a factor. Okay, so we could do all of this without any calculations so far. Now we need to figure out this orange value in order to see how much it is stretched. And so we've got y equals some orange value, x plus 1 times x minus 3. Okay, so that's a 1. Okay, so to figure out the orange value here, we're going to let's use the y-intercept like we did in the last paper a lot. We're going to plug in 0 in for x and -9 in for y. So we've got -9 equals something times 0 plus 1 times 0 minus 3. I replaced y with -9 and x with 0. So -9 equals something times 1 times -3. So this value here is going to have to be 3, because 3 times -3 is going to give me -9. Okay, so now I know that value there. Okay, so now I need to find the y value of the vertex. This guy right here, which is that point right there. So in order to figure out that, now that I've got my equation, y equals 3 times x plus 1 times x minus 3. So we've got that equation right here. And so to solve for the y value of the vertex, this green number here, I need to replace x with the value of 1, because that's the x value on the vertex. The vertex is on the pink axis of symmetry. So we're going to calculate this. So we're going to replace x with 1. Okay, and so then we get 3 times 2 times -2. And so then we're going to get 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 times -2 is -12. And so now I know that y value is going to be -12. Okay? All right, let's do the next one. Okay, so we've got this orange value here. We don't know what that is. Okay, we can see from our picture we have x-intercept at -2, 0, and the other one is at 5, 0. Okay, my y-intercept, they gave it to you, is 0, 30. So if the x-intercept is -2, 0, I'm going to have x plus 2. If my x-intercept is 5, I'm going to have x minus 5. My axis of symmetry is halfway in between -2 and 5. So halfway in between is 1.5. So it's x equals positive 1.5. Okay, so we want to find this vertex. But before we can do that, we need to find the orange number. So, um, so to find the orange number, we're going to use this point that we know and this equation here. So we've got y equals my orange number times x minus 5 times x plus 2. Okay, and I'm going to, in order to find the orange number, I'm going to replace y with 30 and x with 0. So let's do that now. So y is going to be 30 and x is 0. So we have 30 equals some number times negative 5 times positive 2. Well, negative 5 times positive 2 is negative 10. So this number here has to be negative 3. Okay. So, and then when we get, okay, so now we can find, now that we know x is negative 3, we can find the vertex. So we can say y equals negative 3 times x minus 5 times x plus 2. Okay? And I'm trying to find the y value of the vertex, right, that guy. And so I'm going to replace x with 1.5. So I'm going to get negative 3 times 1.5 minus 5 is 1.5 plus 2. And so then I get negative 3 times negative 3.5 times 3.5. And if I multiply all those together, I'm going to get 36.75 up there. Okay, something I want you to notice, if you didn't notice on the previous paper, whenever this orange value is positive, your parabola is pointing up. Whenever the orange value is negative, you might notice that the parabola is pointing down. Okay. All right. So you can already tell it's pointing up. The orange value is going to be positive. Okay. So this is at negative 7. This here is at 3. Okay. And so this is going to be x plus 7 and x minus 3. Okay, so halfway between negative 7 and 3 is negative 2. X equals negative 2, negative 2. Y-intercept, we can't really see what this number is. Okay, this is a different problem. The y-intercept is when x is 0, but I can't really see what this is, so we're going to have to do some calculation to figure that out. But we can tell that the vertex is at negative 100. Okay, so in this is a different example than the others because here you know the vertex, but we don't know the y-intercept. So, so we're going to have to use the vertex in order to find the orange number. So let's rewrite our equation here. It's y equals the orange number times x plus 7 times x minus 3. Okay, so we're going to calculate that orange number there, that coefficient there. We're going to replace x with negative 2, and we're going to replace y with negative 100, and we'll be able to solve for our orange numbers. So negative 100 equals some number, and then negative 2 plus 7, and negative 2 minus 3. We're going to have negative 100 equals, okay, negative 2 plus 7 is 5, and negative 2 and negative 3 is negative 5. So, well, 5 times 5 is 25, right? So if negative 100 equals some number times negative 25. And what number do I multiply to 25 to get 100? You're right. It's 4. So now I know this here has to be 4. Okay, so now we can find the y-intercept. So to find the y-intercept, let's rewrite our equation. Y equals 4x plus 7 times x minus 3. And we're going to replace x with 0, so we get y equals 4 times 0 plus 7 and 0 minus 3. So it equals 4 times 7 times 3, and if we multiply all those together, we get 84. So this is going to be negative 84. Oops. That should be negative 3, right? Negative 84. Okay, hit pause if you need to copy this down. If I went too fast, hit replay if you need to see part of this again. Okay. Negative 8. This intercept 4. Okay. Y-intercept 0, 16. Okay, so negative 8, then I'm going to have x plus 8. And here you've got 4 here, so it's going to be x minus 4. Halfway between those two values happens at negative 2. So my axis of symmetry is x equals negative 2. Okay. So I'm going to use this to find my equation. Y equals something times x plus 8 times x minus 4. And so to figure out this orange value, hopefully you're noticing the pattern now. I'm going to replace x with 0 and y with 16. And so I get 16 equals some number times 8 times negative 4. And so I'm going to get 16 equals some number times negative 32. And so this is going to have to be negative 1/2. And so remember, when this orange value is negative, notice it's pointing down. When the orange value is positive, it's pointing up. Okay, so so now let's find the y value of our vertex. So my equation now we know is y equals negative 1/2 x plus 8 times x minus 4. So we're going to replace x with negative 2. So negative 1/2, negative 2 plus 8, and negative 2 minus 4. And so now I'm going to get negative 1/2, 6 times negative 6. And so then I'm going to get negative 1/2 times 6 is 3. and 3 times negative 6 is 18. So this here is negative 2 comma 18. Okay, hit pause if you need to copy this down. Okay, last page. Okay, so x-intercept is negative 3 and negative 1. So negative 3 and negative 1. So my axis symmetry is halfway between there, which is negative 2. Okay. Oops. Okay. Okay, that's everything we can fill out now. So, negative 2. Okay. So, let's solve for the y-intercept. So we have y equals 2 times x plus 3 times x plus 1, right? That's our equation. So our y-intercept is going to be, we're going to replace x with 0 to find our y-intercept. So then we get 2 times 3 times 1, which is going to give me 6. So 0, comma 6 up here. Okay. Now we're going to find the vertex. Y equals 2 times x plus 3 times x plus 1. Okay, so I'm going to replace x with negative 2, and we're going to solve for the y value of the vertex. So we're going to get 2 times negative 2 plus 3 times negative 2 plus 1. And so then we're going to get 2 times 1 times negative 1. And so we're going to get negative 2. Okay, now we can draw the graph. Okay, so there's my vertex. There's my y-intercept. Last question. Hit rewind, hit pause, see this again. Okay. Okay. X-intercepts are at 6, comma 0 and negative 10, comma 0. Okay. Y-intercept is when x is 0, and we don't know what that is yet. Okay, halfway between 6 and 10. It's kind of, who knows what that is? So to figure out this, we can add them together. So negative 10 plus 6 divided by 2. Negative 10 and 6 is going to be negative 4. Divided by 2 is negative 2. So at negative 2 is when I'm going to have my x-intercept. And you can check, it kind of looks like it's halfway in between, doesn't it? So x equals negative 2. Negative 2. This highlighter is no good anymore. Okay, so now let's solve for the y-intercept. Okay, so I'm going to make x equal to 0. So we got our equation here. We've got y equals negative 4 times x minus 6 times x plus 10. And so we've got negative 4 times 0 minus 6 and 0 plus 10. negative 4 times negative 6 times 10. So negative 4 times negative 6 is 24, and 24 times 10 is positive 240. Okay. So that's up here. Positive 240. Okay, let's find our vertex. So let's rewrite the equation. Y equals negative 4 minus 6x. Wait, what the heck? Y equals negative 4 times x minus 6, x plus 10. Okay, there's my equation. We're going to replace x with negative 2 in order to figure out our y value of the vertex. And so we're going to get negative 4 times negative 2 minus 6, negative 2 plus 10. And so then we get negative 4 times negative 8 times 8. And 8 times 8 is 64, and 64 times 4 is 256. And so this is going to be 256. So that's going to be up here. Okay, and so then our graph looks like that. And hit pause, hit replay. Hopefully this helps you.